Good evening. It's time for Sunday Funday, and I've got an opening question for you. Name something most people hate about fall. If you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, just give me a quick answer in the chat. And we've been talking about pumpkins this month. We've been talking about fall-like colors. Last week we talked about it's that time. It's that time of year. I also looked at some of the things that the Bible says we're to be doing right now. So, name something most people hate about fall. Anybody got any good answers for me there? I have a little bit of a slow connection tonight. Been trying to troubleshoot that here the last little bit. So it may take a moment for me to see your responses. Hopefully you're able to see this video. Alright, yeah, I'm still getting a slow connection here, but maybe we'll be able to have enough to get it. Christy, alright, getting dark earlier. That is one thing people dislike about fall. That is the last one on the list here. Getting dark earlier, yeah, that's definitely one of the downsides. Days start to get shorter. Anybody else or anybody got any guesses on something that most people hate about fall? We talked last week about things we like about fall. What are some of the things people hate about it? Hi, Carol. Good evening. Good to see you on. I guess everybody just likes almost everything about fall. Hi, Will. Good evening. Good to see you on as well, too. All right. Christy says cold weather. So yes, the weather does start to get colder, which is one of the things we like about fall. But as it gets even colder, it's kind of one of those things that we don't like, right? We know that once it starts cooling off, we got these nice temperatures like we happen to have right now. That it's only a matter of time before they get even colder. So, all right, yeah, getting dark earlier. All right. So tonight we're gonna try out something a little different. We're doing this kind of opening game here, just a quick question, and then we're gonna go into our devotional time, and then we're gonna play another game after that. So just to give people an idea of what to expect. If you're watching this, you don't normally attend our Sunday Fun Day, kind of know what's coming next. Just thought I'd start off with this question. I've been talking a lot about what do we like and what's people's favorite things about this time of year. I thought it'd be kind of fun to say, well, what do some people hate about it? Either I have a really slow connection, I'm not getting responses very quickly, or I've got everybody stumped. The cold weather and getting dark earlier seem to be the two main things people can think of that are negative to fall. My understanding when I got this list was they were ranked by the number of people that said this answer, so the top answer is not yet been given. I would have personally thought getting dark earlier would probably been the top answer, but To me, that's the biggest downside to fall. As much as I love fall, um, the darkness is getting earlier. Brown leaves, okay, yeah. Just the fact that the leaves are dying, kind of that aspect of it. We like the colors of fall, but once the colors have changed, you just got a whole bunch of brown. That could be something that people dislike. Didn't make our list, but could be something people don't like about it. Any more guesses? Snow, okay. Definitely if you're in an area that gets snow, that would be one of the downsides. You know that when fall gets here, snow is on its way. Didn't make the list, other than maybe that might have been people were thinking they lumped that in with cold weather coming. Or rain. Rain did make the list, actually. Good answer there. Yeah, generally when fall gets around, we do have some rain. All right. It's a moment longer to make some more guesses, then I'll show you these last two. No one has said them yet. One of them is a similar complaint to why people may not like spring, just to give you a little hint. Must not have anybody on here that is affected by this, so doesn't really stand out to you. But it's certainly true of some people, and apparently quite a number of people, if that was the third allergies. Yes, Christy got it. Allergies. Those fall allergies. I know for me, sometimes the fall can be as tough as the spring when those trees start. I guess more late summer for me, but when those trees start putting off their pollen and that sort of thing, I get a lot of allergies to some of the trees. So, all right. Holiday bad drivers. That didn't make the list, but it should. Yes. The more people you get out doing things, the worse the roads get. It's just bad to be on the road in general. But yeah, the more you concentrate people for events and holidays and things, it definitely makes it a lot worse. All right. For the sake of time, I'll go ahead and give us this last one. The number one response people had about what they hate about fall was raking leaves. So, which is, again, is one of those things that you might enjoy. I know as a kid you always enjoyed playing in the leaves, but it's when you've got to go rake them up, definitely one of the downsides to it. So we did that little opening game because I want you to think about the fact that when changes come, sometimes they're good. We talked about it last week how much people enjoy. I should have known that. Yeah, Christy's like, I don't have to rake leaves anymore, so I didn't think about it now. But, when things change, we can enjoy it. We love the colors of fall. We love some of the foods that are available in the fall. We love just the activities that are there. But then there's also kind of the downside. We don't like having to rake the leaves. We don't like the fact that it's about to start getting colder. Or if you have allergies, those types of things can be a negative. The rain, the getting dark earlier. So there's ups and downs to all of that. And I wanted to think about that just briefly tonight as we look at our passage of scripture. And our passage of scripture is from Isaiah chapter 43, and here this is one of my favorite chapters. The 43 verse 1 is one of my favorite verses where he shows his love for Israel. He's speaking to Israel here. So God is speaking to the nation of Israel through the prophet Isaiah, and letting them know that even though they have forgotten him, they have abandoned him, they have not served him, that he still loves them, that he has chosen them. And it's a beautiful passage when you look at it about how much he cares about his people. And I think we can draw from that as well as Christians, as the church. We are God's people as well, and it talks about how we've been grafted into that family. And it's a beautiful passage of how much God loves us in spite of things we may do, in spite of how we may treat him. And when we get to this part of Isaiah 43, verse 18, he's right in the middle of telling them all this different stuff about who he is and who they are. And in verse 18, he says, remember not the former things, neither consider the things of old. He says, I want you to forget all about the things you've heard before, all the things you've seen before. I want you to forget everything you know. He says, behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall ye not know it? I will even make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. He's saying, I'm going to do something new. And that's what I want us to think about with fall. I think it's interesting you mentioned the brown leaves, Carol, because that's one of the things we love, the colors and all that. But once the yellows and oranges and all that are gone, and some of those brown leaves are just holding on, it can get kind of dull and plain for a while, even bare, where the leaves or the trees don't even have any leaves in most cases, and it's that transformation time. Fall is an important time. The trees shed their leaves, and what's going to happen? They're going to come back and bud out in the spring. At least the ones that do change. Obviously, there's evergreens that stay green throughout the time and keep their leaves. But there's God's doing different things with each one of them. That applies with us as well. We go through seasons. We go through changes in our lives. And maybe we don't like the exact moment in time. We don't like the fact we have to rake these leaves that fell. We don't like the fact that it's getting dark earlier, and put that into our lives. We may not like the job that God has us do. We may not like the role that we've been moved into in our job, or someone that came to work. Maybe we have a new boss or something. We don't like them, or whatever it may be. We may say, I don't like this part of what's happening in my life. I want you to remove this. I want you to remove that. I want you to change this. And we won't. We have things that we say, I don't like that. Sometimes God's doing something in our lives. Sometimes He's using that. He says, I will do a new thing. He says, now it shall spring forth. He was telling the nation of Israel that He was doing something in their lives. He was doing something with them. And they couldn't see it yet. They didn't know what He was doing. It didn't look like something good from their perspective and where they were at with what all had happened to them. But He was doing something new. I think that's a challenge for us. Sometimes when things change, when things may not go the way we want them to go, we can know that God is still at work and He's doing something. And here He says it will be something that will spring forth. He says like a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. It will be something noticeable. I think we mentioned that particular aspect of that verse before about how He will do something that's mighty and different. And then He goes on to say, verse 20, the beasts of the field shall honor me, the dragons and the owls, because I will give waters in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. I will give drink to my people, my chosen. He says, you're going to feel like you're in the middle of nowhere. You're going to feel like you're out of place in the desert, in the wilderness. But I'm going to provide for you. And if you feel like that today, if you feel like I don't know why this is happening, I don't know why I'm at this point in my life, I don't know why I'm in this place or in this situation, we can know that God He's going to provide for us in that. He's going to take that and use that in our lives in a good way. He says, even the beast of the field, He says, it's going to be something so, I'm going to work in your life so fantastically that even the animals all around are going to look and go, wow, the Creator has done something here. Look what the Creator can do. I love the fact that He uses the word dragons there in that translation. It's one of those words that we don't know a whole lot about. It could be translated into some sort of a sea creature, or it could be translated into some sort of some of the notes and some of the different old copies talk about it as maybe like a dog-like animal that was there, or jackals. I think we've talked about that before. It could be some sort of jackals type of an animal. But we don't know exactly with that creature. What he's talking about, the dragons, the owls, all these things that see what's going on, all these animals that are observing us, that are observing God interacting with humans. He's like, they're going to honor me. They're going to praise God for what He's doing with the nation of Israel. Same thing is true. All the animals you see around are going to be praising God for what He's doing in your life. Even they're going to be able to see the change that God is doing. That ought to be an encouragement to us. It ought to be enough for us to say, I'm going to hold on. I'm going to push through this time period. I'm going to make the best of what I've got right now, because I know God can make something out of this. God can make something out of me through this. And He says, I will give rivers in the desert and give drink to my chosen people, my chosen. He says, I can make the impossible happen. He says, this people have I formed for myself. They shall show forth my praise. That's the key to that little whole section right there. He said, I'm going to do something in your life. in the things you're going through right now, the changes, the seasonal changes, the season you're going through, the good stuff and the bad stuff, I'm going to use all that to do something special in your life. And the whole point of all of this is for you to show His praise. That ought to be our challenge, is whatever we're going through, let's make sure that God is getting some glory out of what we're doing, of what He's doing in our lives, that we're pointing everything back to Him. Doesn't mean we like everything that's happening to us, but it's that we know that God is working on our behalf. That God is working things out for our good. That God is working through us and in our lives. That's the challenge I wanted to give you tonight, is seasons change. They can be good, they can be bad, but God can do amazing things with seasons that we don't understand, with parts of our lives that we may wish were different. And the children of Israel, I tell you, right then at that time, he's saying that they wish things were different. And he's saying, I'm working something in and through you. That's what God is doing for you. Let's get back to our game time here real quick. Thinking about those different changes. If I can get back to the right screen here. At the end of the crossword puzzle, I've got a word list, but I thought I'd start off without the word list because I always enjoy it when you guys do that. I hope you can see this on your phones and all. I tried to make it as big as I could. Oh, hang on a second. I actually got those other answers up on top of it. I was wondering why there were like specks on the letters. And so I'll put the word list up if we want to. If you guys give up, you can say word list or show us the words or something. But I've got, I can't remember how many, 6 or so words hidden in here about things that change in the fall. So see if you can find some of the things that change that are here in this list. And it's 7 of them. I went and looked it up just to make sure. And again, I know I have a slight delay, although my internet connection shows it's a little bit better at the moment, so that's good. But I know I may have a little bit of a delay, so feel free just to guess away, even if I haven't acknowledged your previous guess. I will see it eventually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah. Things that change in the fall. And again, if you see a word you're not sure it's even part of it, that's fun too. If you find a word that's not one of these 7, then go ahead and shout it out as well. All right, Christy says foods. Where do you see foods at, Christy? Let me get my handy dandy arrow out. Oh, right here. Okay, my arrow just happened to be on it. F-O-O-D, foods. That's right. We do have different foods for, I'll just point to it right there even though it's over my face. We do have different foods this time of year, don't we? We mentioned the pumpkin as being one of the things that is growing at this time. And I do the pumpkin pie and pumpkin muffins and pumpkin spice latte and all those different things. Pecan pie this time of year, another one of my favorites. It is seems to be kind of seasonal. You don't see pecan pie as much until it gets close to Thanksgiving. Trying to think of what other foods are very seasonal like that. But yeah, we change the things that we eat a lot of times. I know not that sweet potatoes are a seasonal thing because you can get them year round, but at least for me it seems like you see more sweet potato type dishes around Thanksgiving than you do the rest of the year. So maybe that's just more of a regional or personal type thing. Some families maybe don't wait until that time of year to fix those things as much, but the foods do change at this time of year. Things we enjoy, the pumpkin spice latte, you don't get that drink until this time of year. So, the word rot. Where's the word rot at? I will go ahead and tell you that's not one of the 7, but that's fun that it was in there. Rot. Oh, here it is. Rot, R-O-T. Yes, that is something this time of year. Things are decaying. You got these leaves falling and they're rotting. If you don't rake those leaves out of the yard, they will eventually start to rot. And hopefully they're not laying on something that'll get slimy and all that when the leaves start to rot. All right, Christy says leaves, 10th column, 7th row. 10th column, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7th row. Oh, okay, right here, yes, leaves. There's the L. And leave. Wait, is that an E? Yes, okay. I have other things popping up on my screen there that was like covering over part of that. So yeah, so there's leaves. Yeah, the leaves definitely changed. That's one of the 7. Leaves and food is 2 of the things that made our list. Rot could have been on there, but just happened to be one of the words that randomly showed up. Kind of fun, interesting. Yeah, the leaves are one of my favorite parts of fall, obviously. And some of these, I'll warn you, might not be as obvious as you're looking for, but they are things that change in the fall. Then let me know if you do want the word list. I know it's you're only looking for 7 words, now 5 words in a grid this big. That's a lot to be looking for. I know at least one of them goes backwards, if that helps. Everybody's hard at work trying to see the grid here. Some of them are things we already talked about as well. Just to give you a little hint there. Some of them may overlap our discussion about things people don't like in fall. Hopefully everyone's hard at work looking these up. Figure my luck, I may have a lost internet connection and nobody's looking and I'm still waiting for answers. It's always my fear. Oh, okay. Scarlett's having trouble seeing the letters. All right, didn't get them quite big enough there. When you put it on the phone, it makes it kind of small. Chrissy says she's looking for time and weather. She's expecting both of those to be on there. Well, let me just give you a hint then, Christy. Think of other words that might be used in place of those, because you're on the right track with each one of those, but those 2 words themselves are not in there. So oh, you see clock? Where do you see clock at? Let me get my handy dandy arrow ready. Right here, C-L-O-C-K. Is that where you found it? Diagonally backwards? Yeah. 5, 6, 7. Yep. All right. So yeah. So clock is right here. There's the K. There's the C. Clock. That is one of the things that changes, right? The November of this year, you'll be setting that clock fall backwards an hour, and that could have been on the list of things people hate about fall. I'm not a big fan of daylight savings time as far as changing the clocks. I definitely like having the extra daylight during daylight savings time, but not a big fan of having to change my clocks around in either case, even when you're moving it back. It just seems to mess with my sleeping abilities. But yeah, the clock is one of those things that changes. Okay, let me go ahead and just put the word list up there. I didn't think about that. I can go ahead and add the word list. Since you guys have already gotten several of these. You got to move my pointer here. Here's the words you're looking for. I was waiting to see if somebody might found some of these that before I gave you the word list. But butterflies. Anybody find butterflies? They may wonder why is butterflies on here. Don't butterflies change throughout the year and all that? The thing about butterflies is some of the species migrate this time of year. The monarch butterfly in particular, one of those really beautiful species of butterflies that everybody enjoys seeing and you see talked about a lot. They make an autumn migration. They fly to South America for the warmth of Mexico and parts of California, from America to those areas. They fly south from America to Mexico or the warmer parts of California. The interesting thing about that is they travel up to about 12 to 25 miles an hour. Can you imagine one of those little butterflies that all you see is kind of floating around like it's going to be blown away by the wind, moving at 25 miles an hour? Now that's a butterfly in a hurry. I can't imagine seeing it fly that fast. That's just shy of how fast Usain Bolt runs when he's doing those world record speeds of running. So that's pretty fast for a butterfly, especially a dainty little butterfly. They are the only insect that migrate up to 2,500 miles for nicer weather. So a lot of insects, migrate for warmth and things in the winter, but they're the only ones that migrate that far for warmer weather. So those monarch butterflies you see that are really pretty, apparently they love their snowbirding down in Mexico and southern Cal. So that's why you see butterflies on the list. Let me see, and it starts right here. Here's the bee butterflies. So, oh wait, so Christy found squirrel brains. Yay! Way to go, Christy! You found the word of the day, squirrel brains. Second column, second row. Yes, squirrel brains starts right here with this S, and works its way up to squirrel brains. Ends right there. You may be going, okay, Chuck, I know a lot about fall, but I don't know about squirrel brains. Does this fall into the foods changing, or what is this about? Or maybe you already know. I don't know. Maybe you knew this before I did. But we all know that squirrels like to bury nuts and seeds to prepare for the winter. But what you may not know is that their brains actually increase in size. Scientists tell us that the average squirrel shows a 15% increase in the size of their hippocampus. I'm not a brain expert, but that's a part of the brain there. That's part of the brain that's responsible for memory and emotion. So apparently squirrels get real emotional this time of year. I guess actually maybe it's more for the memory. Obviously, maybe it's designed to help them be able to remember where they buried those delicious nuts and things of that nature. But yeah, squirrel brains actually grow 15% increase during the fall time frame, during that October-November period there. So, but at least some of you didn't know that, because I sure didn't know that until I started looking things up. That's why squirrel brains made our list. I was kind of hoping someone would find squirrel brains before I gave the list and be like, okay, I don't think it's supposed to be in there, but here's the word. So, all right. So yeah, next time you see a squirrel hiding some acorns or something, just know their brain's getting bigger, so they'll know where to find that. All right, clocks. Christy already found that one. Daylight was the other one. Daylight is... where is daylight? I had it just a moment ago, I thought. Oh yeah, the D is right here, and it goes diagonally. Daylight ends with that T right there. So daylight, that's one of those things that change. We'll talk about that in the first part. Days get shorter. One of the downsides. We already mentioned food changing, leaves changing, squirrel brains, and temperature. So did we find temperature? Oh my goodness, hit the wrong button there. This is why I struggle to move things around. Temperature. So we found that one already. Somebody already called that one out to me? I guess not. That's when you were saying weather, Christy. I was thinking this is related to that, but I'll stop moving this thing around till I find it. It's probably very distracting on your end. Trust me, it's there. I didn't bring the key on this one, so I'll have to go look it up, and then all right. So it's beside daylight diagonally. Let me come back here. Oh, fifth row. Christy found it as I was going to consult the key. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, so there's the T right there. T-E-M-P-E-R-E. T-U-R-E. So it ends right here. So it starts. Wait, I lost my space there again. Starts here and ends. I can't move diagonally very well. Okay, it ends right here. Yeah, temperature. So all right. So a very good job. Sorry that was a little too small to see on some of the devices, but hopefully you enjoyed it anyway. But yeah, things change. Sometimes for the good, sometimes for the bad. True, that's also true in our life. Sometimes changes happen that we like. Sometimes changes happen that we're not so happy about. The beauty of it is God is at work in all of it. And he says, just watch. Behold, I will do something new. Forget what you've seen before, what you think is possible, what you think is normal. So I'm doing something new. He's working in your life. Hope you find that encouraging. Hope when you see leaves falling and leaves changing and maybe a plant that looks like it's dying, even the grass outside, most of the types of grass we have around here, they go dormant in the winter and just kind of look dead. They're not really dead. They're dormant, but they look dead. And you say, oh, look at this. It's changing. God's doing something. And it's true in nature. It's true in our lives. And it's true for you. He's working in your life. So hope that encourages you. Hope you have a wonderful week. And we will talk to you again next week. And like I always say, don't hesitate to give me a call this week or a text message or whatever if you need me. And I look forward to hearing from you. And we'll see you next week. Love you all.